Hey guys, I'm Ubiru and welcome back to World of Warships. So today I have a replay for you guys in the German Tier 8 battleship, the Tirpitz. Now the Tirpitz at the moment in World of Warships is in its test phase, so that means only a select few people are able to play the ship on the live servers, and it will hopefully be released in 0.4.1, which is scheduled to be out in the next couple of weeks. Today we have TierCTrafficPolice in his Tirpitz on Two Brothers Standard Battle. I've seen quite a few games of the Tirpitz on the live servers, and they do seem to perform very, very well. Now the Tirpitz is unique, being the only battleship in the game in the current state of World of Warships to have torpedoes. Now what I've seen from the overall capability of the Tirpitz, it's a very good ship. Now the Tirpitz is a premium ship, so it means you can buy it with gold. Unfortunately it's not released just yet, so I'm not sure how much it will be, but it's a Tier 8 ship, so you can imagine it will cost quite a lot. Now the Tirpitz has 70,000 health, a gun range of nearly 22 kilometers, and it has those 380mm guns. It has 4 turrets consisting of 2 guns on each turret, and respectable secondary guns of 105 and 150mm in caliber. Now the interesting part is the torpedoes, which is unique with the Tirpitz, and the Tirpitz has a torpedo score of 16 out of 100, which isn't the best, so it has a torpedo range of only 6 kilometers, and it has 4 tubes on each side, so 2x4, 533mm torpedoes, which can do quite a lot of damage, but I wouldn't really rely on them. They're very much an emergency weapon or very close distance brawling weapon. The Tirpitz also has a respectable anti-air capability and a very good maneuverability, surprisingly. It has a 31 knot maximum speed for a battleship, which is one of the best in the game. Unfortunately though, it doesn't have a very good turning circle radius of nearly 1,000 meters, and other than those stats, the concealment is about average for a battleship. So this video isn't a review of the Tirpitz, it's sort of an idea of what to expect. Today we have Tier C in his Tirpitz on the Two Brothers Standard Battle. Now you would expect in a Tirpitz, being a premium ship, to have preferential matchmaking, and from this game you can see that it doesn't always get the best matchmaking. So he's about to emerge, he's sitting alongside many of his other battleships and cruisers in his team, but he is one of the ones further forward. Now Tier C has been trailing after the Shimakaze, and he's just taken a big hit there. Now the Shimakaze is a very formidable destroyer with very long lance torpedoes, and those torpedoes can do a huge amount of damage within a very short space of time. So now that Tier C is about to emerge, he's getting his guns around to focus on the Taiho carrier. Now the carrier has 31,000 health left at 14.5 kilometers. Now the gun range of the Tirpitz is about 22 kilometers as standard, and if you use a scout plane, it can get anywhere up to 25 kilometers. So he fired one salvo there at the Taiho, hit the deck. Unfortunately, it was a ricochet. Now, if you often hit the flat surface of the top of a carrier, at that angle, you will likely bounce. So there's a Baltimore there as well, and a Nagato, and an Iowa, and an Amagi. Now, some really, really big ships in this area. The Iowa being the Tier 9 American battleship, which is easily one of the best battleships in the game. So he's focusing down this Taiho. He shot again there. No damage. Again, some unlucky ricochets. It's unfortunate, but expected at this distance and angle. So now the Baltimore is emerging. The Taiho is very low. He's telling his team to focus this guy down. So he's getting his guns ready. The reload time of the Tirpitz is 25 seconds, which is very good for a battleship. He's firing another salvo, but he was knocked out. So now you can see the Shimakaze has laid off all his torpedoes, the long lance torpedoes, which can go very fast and in excess of around 20 kilometers. So thankfully they are moving away and not towards Tier C. So now that the carrier is destroyed, he can focus on the Baltimore. Now, the Baltimore has some armor, and of course it has the capability of healing, much like battleships, with the Tier 9 and Tier 10 cruisers. 32,000 health left, 15 kilometers away. This time with armor piercing, in they go for 3,700 damage, and the rest unfortunately missed. But you can see the very big cluster of battleships on the left-hand side here, along with the Pensacola cruiser. So the Baltimore is obviously the best target to shoot at. He has lots of allies supporting him behind him. So Tier C is about to fire, but he's thinking the Baltimore is in a very straight line. And of course, if you fire a target like this in a direct line, he's a very, very small target to hit, and you're only very likely to hit only a couple of shots if you're lucky. So he's waiting his time. Hopefully the Baltimore will turn broadside on to get a decent shot. You can see the Baltimore is on fire, and he's taking substantial damage from high explosive shells from his team. So Tier C is about to fire full salvo with armor piercing into the Baltimore. The Baltimore doesn't seem to be moving in any direction, but no matter, it seemed like his engine might be broken, so he's just sitting there, firing a full salvo, hopefully do some good damage. So shots going in there for nearly 8,000 damage, only 5,000 health left on the Baltimore, but now he's well out of range and not really within accurate gun range. So now Tier C is going to focus on the Pensacola, which is the Tier 7 cruiser, which is a very good ship, but it has almost no armor. So again, he's just waiting for an accurate angle to fire at the Pensacola. There's no point firing in a battleship with such long reload to then miss immediately. So the Amagi, the Nagato, and the Iowa are sort of camping in their base. Now the Iowa, the Amagi, and the Nagato together are some of the most formidable ships in World of Warships at the moment. Between them, they can very easily take out most of Tier C's team. So now Tier C's firing a salvo at the Pensacola. He's turned at a good angle, almost broadside on, but unfortunately the shots missed. Now you can see the Baltimore is very low and the Shimakaze's there as well. Now the Shimakaze, you can see from the torpedoes, has fired another spread of devastating long lance torpedoes. So the Shimakaze is a big threat. You can see by those 3 torpedoes that more will be incoming anytime soon. Now Tier C doesn't have time to reload to high explosive, which would be the best ammo type to kill one of these guys. He has to stick with armor piercing and hope for the best. So shots going in, unfortunately they missed. The chance of hitting a destroyer at this distance is very small. So now you can see more torpedoes are coming in. You can't spot them all at this distance, but as they get closer, he'll be able to see more and more and more. So he needs to think about moving. Tier C is going into a straight formation away from the torpedoes to become a very small target from the torpedoes to hopefully get very minimum damage from them. Now these torpedoes are devastating. They can do up to 20,000 damage with just 1 torpedo. So if he gets hit by 2 or 3 of these, he won't recover and he will sink and die. Now the repairability on the battleship is quite effective, but when you get hit by a torpedo, it doesn't heal for the entire amount. It's only around sort of 50 to 60% of the damage taken. So fortunately that time, he got between the torpedoes, he thought well in advance, knew his really bad turning circle radius and moved in advance to avoid all those torpedoes. So for the moment, he's safe from enemy torpedoes. The Shimakaze has a reload time of around a minute and a half. Now, the Pensacola is at 17.5 kilometers away. Now, cruisers are a very hard target to hit, especially the American ones, because they have a great balance of maneuverability and firepower. So Tier C fired a full salvo of armor piercing at the Pensacola. In they go. For 23,000 damage. 2 Citadel hits there, so you can tell the Citadel hit average damage of the Tirpitz is around 11,000 damage. So the Pensacola is very low, but there's still 3 big battleships in their base, which are ready to defend the base if they get too close. So the Pensacola is now turning broadside on, and now there's a perfect opportunity for Tier C to fire a full salvo at this guy. Only 2,000 health left. You can safely penetrate and hopefully kill cruisers of this displacement. So shots are going in. Oof. Unfortunately, these shots dipped, and the shells missed. Now, the Nagato's in the distance there, 58,000 health left, but there are 2 enemies capping his base. So he either needs to think about going back and killing off the Megami and the Otago and defend, or go for the full attack. Now, there are 3 big battleships in the enemy base, but the Tirpitz has torpedoes, not to mention the great secondary guns and fairly good main armament. So he's thinking of just going to their base, trying his luck, and hopefully trying to finish them off. Tier C can see that many of his allies are killing off the ships in his base, and he doesn't really have to worry about that. So he has 53,000 health left. Torpedoes are loaded, main guns are loaded, but the only problem is the main guns aren't fully turned round. Now the turning time for these guns is about average for a battleship, around 45 seconds, so it won't take long to maneuver. The Amagi and the Iowa are very closely compact, and they're very close to an island. Now that's very risky play in case you get grounded, and if you get grounded in a battleship with many big ships around you, you're very likely to die. So the Nagato is a threat at 20 kilometers, but these 2 ships within 6 and 8 kilometers respectively are a massive threat. So as soon as he turns this corner, he will be spotted, and he will be in serious trouble. Now I was concerned in this situation. I thought Tier C would actually ground himself on this island on the left. If he was grounded there, this would be completely different. So he's got his guns round, he's got torpedoes ready, and he's ready to do some damage. So he's waiting for a good angle on the Iowa. He's the bigger threat, 5 kilometers away, and the Amagi at 3 kilometers as well. But the Amagi's on the left side, and he wants to use both sides worth of torpedoes. So he's focusing on the Amagi first, and now Tier C's secondary guns are going haywire. The Iowa, the Amagi, all focusing him down, and he needs to think about using his main guns. But he's not going to use his main guns until he's at a good angle. Now he's in a good angle. So he's going to fire his main guns into the side of the Amagi. So shots going in. A lot of damage, 37,000 damage, 2 Citadel hits. And now he's got to think about using torpedoes, firing in the side of the Amagi. 4 torpedoes in total. In they go. 20,000 health left. And completely wrecked a full health Amagi. And now for the Iowa, 2.3 kilometers away. Now the Iowa is a massive threat, easily one of the best battleships in the game. So as he's waiting for his guns to turn around, an Amagi appeared. 6 kilometers away, the Amagi is a big threat with his very good DPM. Going to fire in the side of the Amagi while the guns are turning around. Shot him for 5,000 damage, so he's got to get these guns around. In they go, and torpedoes as well. So TierC is waiting for a good opportunity to fire the torpedoes effectively. He wants to hit all of them and not just 2 or 3. So he's waiting his time. In they go. 4 torpedoes. Torpedoes in. 30,000 damage, 40,000 damage, 25,000 health left. Firing a full salvo into the middle of the Iowa. Citadel hit. 23,000 damage. High caliber medal. 5,000 health left. This guy's been completely wrecked. He's trying to repair. He's set on fire. This Iowa is doomed. He's trying to kill TierC, but to no avail. The guns have turned round now. And shots going in. Finished off an Iowa. So within a few seconds, he killed off a full health Amagi, followed closely by a full health Iowa in a Tier 8 battleship. Now, I've seen a few games in the Tirpitz, and this is by far my favourite scenario, favourite brawl out of all of them. Fantastic brawl. So far in this game, TierC's team is winning by a massive margin, 10-4, only 2 ships remaining, the one on his left and the one behind him. The Nagato is getting within gun range. There he is, only 7 kilometers away. TierC firing all his guns into the side of the Nagato, albeit for only a minor amount of damage, but an ally finished him off. So he took a big hit there, and fortunately he repaired to negate that, to win the game without dying. So a great game by TierCTrafficPolice in the Tier 8 German battleship, the Tirpitz. So in this game he got 760,000 credits, 6,600 experience, 333 free experience, the high caliber medal, 25 hits in total, 7 torpedoes, 5 planes shot down, 2 incapacitations, 2 destroyed, 4 set on fire. He induced flooding 5 times and did 7 citadel hits. In terms of the team, he only came short of 3,000 base experience, and he came on top by a very large margin. In terms of damage in this game, TierC accumulated 120,000 damage with armor piercing, with fire set 6,700, 500 damage with floodings, and 60,000 damage with torpedoes. So the Tirpitz, when it's released in hopefully 0.4.1, will easily be one of my favourite ships in the game. I will definitely purchase this ship. I will do a full review on the ship when it's released. Thanks to TierCTrafficPolice for the amazing replay. As always, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.